At exactly 2:14 a.m. local time, a Patriot missile battery operator on the island of Bahrain detects his first target. Moving low, slow, heading northeast, creeping up the Gulf at a speed of 110 knots. He watches intently for 8 seconds when suddenly a second contact appears behind the first. Then a third, followed by 6 more. These are Shahed swept-wing kamikaze drones, powered by a 2-stroke engine mounted on the tail, packed with enough explosives to demolish a building. In total, at least a dozen of these small drones are zeroing in on naval support activity Bahrain, a secure base where 8,000 American soldiers, along with their families, sleep less than half a mile from the perimeter fence. The battery commander's dilemma isn't tactical. These drones fly straight and slow, about the speed of a small Cessna airplane. His real challenge is arithmetic. Each pack, 3 interceptor missile, used to destroy a drone costs around $4 million dead. Firing one to eliminate a $30,000 Shahed drone is like killing a mosquito with an expensive Rolex watch. It's effective, certainly, but you won't get that Rolex back. Moreover, every missile used means one less round available if something much bigger appears behind the swarm. Yet, protecting the lives of civilians at the base is absolutely non-negotiable. Making the call, he fires. The missile launcher canister pops, and the PAC-3 interceptor blasts off on a pillar of white exhaust. The missile, 17 feet long, is guided like a precise telephone pole, accelerating to Mach 5 in just 2 seconds. It carries no conventional warhead or shrapnel, just a 700-pound guided mass designed to strike its target nose first, letting its kinetic energy obliterate the drone. The Shahed drone doesn't attempt to maneuver or even detect the incoming threat. The missile intercepts and shreds it over the harbor, rain of debris splashing down into the water. The commander fires again, with the same result. But the drones keep coming, because Iran didn't dispatch just a dozen. Instead, they sent enough to try and exhaust the Patriot battery's missile inventory. What the battery commander didn't realize was that these Shahed drones were never truly meant to hit their target. They were bait, decoys to drain the missile defense system's resources. Meanwhile, the Patriot crews intercept and destroy each drone faster than Iran can send subsequent waves. Both batteries remain directed northeast, cleaning up the last of the swarm, when suddenly, without warning, a THAAD-1 ballistic missile drops almost straight down overhead at a mind-blowing speed of Mach 13. This is Iran's most advanced weapon, slipping past defenses while the security teams are distracted by chasing what seem like mundane threats in the parking lot. The warhead lands just 130 feet from the command hub, striking the service center. Another missile then flattens a satellite uplink dish. Despite the drama, only these 2 missiles actually hit their marks. Out of everything Iran launched at Bahrain that night, operational damage is negligible. The destroyed satellite uplink was among at least half a dozen communication channels the U.S. Fifth Fleet uses to talk with its ships, including HF radio, AF satellite communications, Link 16 data links, fleet broadband, and encrypted chat systems. Losing one uplink is like cutting a landline phone when you still have a cell phone, a satellite phone, and your neighbor's Wi-Fi password. Communications reroute seamlessly within minutes. The Fifth Fleet continues operations without missing a beat. 50 miles across the water in the United Arab Emirates, the radar scope at Al Udeid Air Base is filling with incoming contacts. A much bigger challenge is about to unfold. The Combined Air Operations Center, housed in a hardened facility at Al Udeid, remains fully manned. No operators leave their consoles, a silent testament to the fact that the air war doesn't pause simply because Iran decided to fire back. At 3:00 a.m. local time, Iranian ballistic missiles cross the Qatar border, signaling the onset of an intensified attack. The coastline sits tensely under stacks of defense systems, bristling with readiness. The second missile salvo is already climbing into the sky even before the first salvo has touched down. And right on its tail, a third barrage follows, an unrelenting wave of firepower designed to keep the Patriot battery firing, without pause, cycling through reload seamlessly and leaving no gaps in the defense. At a command post, a Patriot PAC-3 MC missile segment enhancement, operator locks onto the lead target. A missile track detected 40 miles out. In under 2 seconds, calculations race through speed, trajectory, and probable impact point. Confirmation comes swiftly. This engagement is a go. The canister on the launcher erupts, sending the PAC-3 MC interceptor racing skyward. The interceptor resembles a guided telephone pole, a term describing its sleek, elongated shape. Yet this MSE variant is not just a missile. It is faster and deadlier than its predecessors. Reaching Mach 5, it maneuvers by firing tiny altitude thrusters, technology borrowed from NASA's spacecraft docking systems, making millimeter-level course corrections against targets hurtling toward it at speeds where, upon impact, objects effectively vanish. The first intercept lights up the scene above Doha at an altitude of 80,000 feet. In the instant of collision, both the incoming warhead and the Patriot interceptor are obliterated, transformed into an ephemeral spray of particles that will slowly drift through the upper atmosphere over the coming days. This engagement occurs where two objects collide at a combined speed exceeding 8,000 miles per hour. Meanwhile, a second PAC-3 missile begins its ascent for the next target. For a full 90 seconds, every Iranian missile is met mid-flight by a dedicated American interceptor. A mechanical dance performed with the seasoned precision of operators who have rehearsed these drills countless times in simulators. Iranian forces employ one clever tactic, similar to their maneuver during the Bahrain attack. A warhead fires lateral thrusters at approximately 30,000 feet to slightly alter its course. This subtle shift lets it slip past interceptors committed to the original trajectory. Through this method, two warheads and a low-flying Shahed drone managed to penetrate the defenses during the saturation assault. And on FPS 132, early warning radar takes a hard hit in the barrage, and a section of the flight line is cratered by the incoming strikes. But thanks to redundancy in US defense systems, the damage is mitigated. The E-3 Sentry AWACS loitering at 30,000 feet takes over the radar role flawlessly. The base functions as a backup powerhouse. It has power, communications, and sensors running as backups for backups. Within the hour, rapid-set concrete crews repair the cratered flight line. Inside the Chaos Operations Center, screens flicker from the blast impact. Overhead lights sway, and an officer grabs his coffee just before it slides off his console. Outside, fire trucks rush the damaged areas beneath the blast-resistant windows, while officers inside remain steadfast, directing the ongoing air campaign against Iran without interruption. Remarkably, Iran succeeded in driving 3 weapons right into the very heart of the facility coordinating the air war against them. Yet, the air operations continue unaffected. But the scene over Kuwait crafts a different picture entirely. The heavens above Ali al-Salem Air Base rumble incessantly, like a relentless thunderstorm. A staggering 380 incoming projectiles, a complex mingling of ballistic missiles and drones, are stacked in relentless salvo after salvo, marking the largest combined barrage ever launched against a missile defense battery in modern warfare. Kuwaiti and American Patriot crews brace themselves on the front lines, preparing to set a record that may never be surpassed. One PAC-3 operator acquires the first incoming Shahed missile variant right at the edge of his engagement envelope, 35 miles away, descending through 60,000 feet at Mach 6. H6. Following standard engagement protocol, he launches 2 interceptors 8 seconds apart. The logic: if the first fails to destroy the warhead, the second is already en route as a backup. The first interceptor connects at an altitude of 40,000 feet, its flash marking the annihilation of the target. Meanwhile, the second interceptor, already launched, self-destructs safely away to prevent any collisions with debris or friendly systems, exemplifying the layered defense and fail-safe measures ingrained in this advanced missile derangement operation. Imagine a defense system locked in an unrelenting battle against a relentless barrage. Each ballistic missile fired demands a rapid, precise response. 2 intercept attempts per threat, no room for second chances. This is a truth rarely advertised in brochures, because the stakes are impossibly high. The Patriot missile batteries keep their relentless pace, white arcs, painting the night sky in pairs, bursting brilliance flashing high above, leaving streaks of wreckage trailing toward the earth below. On the ground, the crew moves with disciplined urgency, reload after reload. Canisters, emptied in the fray, are swiftly swapped and reloaded by ground teams working tirelessly beneath the flickering strobe lights of their own interceptors, lifting off overhead. Every few minutes, a fresh salvo crosses the Kuwaiti border, and every time the Patriot systems respond with unwavering precision. There is no pause, no dip in accuracy, just a non-stop engagement stretching for 3 grueling hours. Such a rate of sustained fire defies any peacetime training or simulation. Tally is staggering: 380 missile engagements, and not a single one slips through. A perfect record. These conditions push the missile defense system far beyond its original design parameters, facing an onslaught of unprecedented volume. Against every expectation, it performs flawlessly, rewriting the very textbooks on integrated air and missile defense. Somewhere far from the battlefield, in a defense company's boardroom, the facts of this prescription for success are already shaping the next compelling sales pitch. Yet, even perfection carries a price dictated by physics. Those 380 successful intercepts create 380 clouds of debris raining down somewhere on the ground. Most fall harmlessly in the desolate desert, but some fragments descend on a supply staging area where troops work through the night loading pallets. The unmistakable sound of medics rushing signals a hidden cost amid the triumph. Ground crews hasten to patch runway damage with quick-setting concrete and skillfully navigate forklifts around debris-filled craters. Overhead, a stray drone clips Kuwait International Airport, a minor disruption for commercial aviation caused by Iran's massive missile barrage. The outcome: 380 for 380, an unprecedented missile defense record. Any casualties from falling shrapnel are the unavoidable toll of physics, not a failure of defense. But this historic night doesn't end here. At precisely 3:47 local time, at Al Dhafra Air Base, THAAD, Terminal High Altitude Area Defense, operator receives a launch notification. 2 ballistic missiles arc high inbound from Iranian territory. THAAD represents 3 decades of development and billions invested, having proven its worth over the UAE in 2022 against Houthi missiles and later defending Israel with roughly 150 interceptors during 2024 and 2025. Yet, this marks its first time defending an American base under direct Iranian fire. The battery fires. The first interceptor rockets out of its canister, propelled by a single-stage solid rocket motor. It rockets straight up through the troposphere, cuts through the stratosphere, and emerges into the thin blackness where Earth's atmosphere fades and space begins. At 60 miles above the surface, higher than any weather balloon or spy plane, the missile's nose cone separates, releasing a kinetic interceptor about the size of a basketball. Equipped with infrared seekers and its own thrusters for precise maneuvers, it flies free in this near-space environment. Here, where air is so thin that a candle could not stay lit, this interceptor maneuvers itself into a collision course with its target, moving at a blazing Mach 8 THAAD. There is no explosive warhead, just pure kinetic energy as mass meets mass at incredible speed. Imagine a missile that can cross the continental United States in under 12 minutes, soaring at incredible speed through the cold vacuum of space. The seeker system locks onto the incoming Iranian warhead against the stark, icy backdrop of the cosmos. Millimeter-precise thrusters fire, making tiny adjustments as the two objects close in on each other. Then, in a high-velocity collision 60 miles above the desert, kinetic energy transforms both missile and interceptor into vapor. Two brilliant flashes illuminate the skies above Abu Dhabi, so bright you could capture them with a camera from the ground. Meanwhile, second interceptor handles another missile with the same flawless physics. Acquire, close, convert to vapor. On that single night, Iran launches over 300 missiles and drones at the United Arab Emirates, each one aimed carefully at military targets. And every single one aimed at a military target is intercepted successfully. The Al Dhafra airbase remains completely unscathed. No potholes on the runway, no shattered windows in operations. The defenders stand firm. Yet Iran doesn't relent. Next, it strikes against Jordan. At Milwaukee Al-Salti Air Base, an F-35 pilot is running through his final pre-takeoff checks when the air raid sirens blast into the night. 49 projectiles are converging on the base, ballistic missiles mixed with drone swarms. Jordanian interceptors roar up into the dark skies. A THAAD battery targets the highest threats. Despite the efforts, a warhead breaks through the perimeter defenses. The explosion rocks the ramp, the force trembling through the F-35's landing gear. Smoke curls up from a building hit directly just off to the left of the canopy. His mission briefing card reads Iran. The pilot braces himself as the aircraft's 43,000 pounds of thrust press him into his seat. He releases the brakes and the F-35 roars down the runway with sirens screaming all around. Smoke billows from the base he's about to leave behind as interceptor missile trails crisscross the darkened sky. The heads-up display populates automatically with waypoints. First target, an urgency command relay facility deep in western Iran. Coordinates updated just 6 minutes ago through Link 60. He retracts the landing gear, smooths the jet's profile, and points the nose eastward, accelerating to 400 knots. As a Patriot missile launch lights up his rearview mirrors, he flies into enemy territory. Precision munitions will soon find their mark. Then he'll return to the same battered runway, rearm, and launch again. 2 combat sorties in one night, both flying out from a base, actively under fire. He's not alone. That same night, 60 other American combat aircraft operate from Milwaukee, F-35Es, FA-18s and tankers cycling rapidly onto and off the runway between incoming missile salvos. Ground crews work tirelessly, patching blast damage with rapid-set concrete almost like superglue specifically designed for runways. As one team finishes filling a crater, another pulls up to the next, filling it before the concrete on the previous one has fully cured. Amid all this, a weapons loader maneuvers around a fresh gouge in the taxiway to deliver jamming pods to a jet preparing for its second sortie. Armorers hang 2,000-pound bombs on pylons, while Patriot missile contrails streak overhead. Iran fired 49 weapons at this base, utilizing targeting data sourced from Chinese commercial satellites. The defenders' grit and swift responses ensured those attacks fell short. The base remains operational, and the fight presses on through the night. The satellite intelligence was incredibly precise, capable of pinpointing individual aircraft shelters. Every detail was captured. Hardened shelters, fuel points, even the command post. Despite this flawless surveillance, every single jet manages to take off, drop coordinates on Iran, and return for more. While bases in the Gulf and Jordan are alerted minutes in advance from eastern vectors, positions in Erbil, Iraq are so close that warnings come mere seconds from almost every direction. Iraqi militia situated about 60 miles south launch inexpensive Iranian-designed drones at American compounds, so near the bases that operators can hear the drone engines before the radar even detects them. By Saturday night, these militias have claimed responsibility for 16 separate drone attacks on U.S. positions. At one of the American compounds, a CWIS operator hears the faint buzz of a two-stroke engine drifting in the dark, around 300 feet altitude, even before the radar shows a blip. Without hesitation, the CWIS system picks up the target on search radar, the tracking radar ons in, and the 20mm NXT-1 Gatling gun springs to life. Its 6 barrels rotate at over 720 RPM, more than 12 rotations per second, firing tungsten rounds that exit the muzzle at 3,600 feet per second. Like a furious swarm of wasps, the bullets sizzle through the night and pulverize the drone into a fiery blast visible without binoculars. This entire burst lasts less than a second, 25 tungsten rounds striking the fragile plastic airframe, as effective as a fire hose against a paper plate. In just 4 seconds, radar contact turns the drone into scrap metal. Almost immediately, another drone approaches from the south, a completely different bearing. The gun locks on, fires, and the night ignites once again with lethal bursts. Then a third drone comes from the northwest. The results are identical. A fourth one. The CWIS gun system cuts through it as fast as the last. Its barrel assembly heats up so intensely that infrared sensors pick up its glow. Meanwhile, the militias, launching drones from pickup trucks 60 miles away, have no way to know if any drone is getting through. Undeterred, they continue flooding the night skies with drones and posting exaggerated claims of American casualties on Telegram and TikTok. In total, 16 attacks and 16 claims of inflicted damage have come from these militias, yet 0 drones penetrate the perimeter. The only damage sustained was a segment of the perimeter fence knocked down by debris from a successful intercept. Throughout the night, the most expensive item to suffer was a fence section. Not a single American asset that isn't physically anchored has been hit. This represents a significant miscalculation by Iran. Meanwhile, the Aegis escalates by launching ballistic missiles at Carrier Strike Group 3 in the northern Arabian Sea. Now, the USS Abraham Lincoln executes a sharp evasive turn, the same maneuver that caused an FA-18 to slide off the deck of the USS Theodore Roosevelt during a Houthi attack earlier that year. Flight deck crews brace, grabbing onto anything securely fastened as the carrier's 4 propeller crews churn the Arabian Sea's waters, white, pivoting 100,000 tons of warship to present the smallest radar cross-section possible against incoming missile tracks. The escort ships don't even rely solely on their physical positions. Their Aegis radar systems have already acquired the targets. On their displays, Aegis-equipped cruisers and guided missile destroyers spread out over vast distances, forming a wide protective barrier around the carrier group. They methodically track each threat with precision, coordinating to neutralize the incoming missile volley before it reaches the fleet. From Lincoln's bridge, the edges of the formation remain out of sight, but the Aegis spy wand-phased array radars are vigilantly scanning the skies. Each ship boasts 4 fixed radar arrays, completely without moving parts, continuously tracking every inbound threat long before any missile breaches Iranian airspace. The system builds firing solutions on threats still climbing out of Iran, their missiles yet to reach apogee, while the defensive network already calculates their predicted impact points. The outer ring responds first. SM-3 interceptors launch vertically from the cells on 2 destroyers. As the BLS hatches swing open, boosters ignite, thrusting 3,000-pound missiles off the deck, their white exhaust trails piercing the darkness. These missiles perform exo-atmospheric interceptions, engaging warheads in space before their terminal dive begins. The SM-3 sheds its booster stages sequentially, the first then the second, then the third, each falling away as the missile grows lighter and accelerates. Its warhead, the size of a basketball, hurtles through the vacuum above the Arabian Sea at Mach 13. It steers with nitrogen gas bursts so precise they're measured in millimeters per second. No explosives on board, just a kinetic kill vehicle designed to collide with an incoming warhead. Like threading a needle, only at speeds around 10,000 mph, with no chance for a second attempt. Lookouts on the signal bridge witnessed two bright flashes without any magnification, two missile tracks disappearing before they can even descend. Following the SM-3s, SM-2 interceptors engaged the next wave during descent. 3 destroyers launched these interceptors simultaneously, converging on warheads plummeting at hypersonic speeds. Flashes at altitude mark more tracks obliterated. Then, a pair of Shahed drones skims just 50 feet above the water, trying to evade radar by hugging the waves. They manage to slip inside the outer ring before the Lincoln RAM system locks onto them. 2 RAM missiles fire in quick succession, 3 seconds apart. Each is a 5-foot guided missile equipped with an infrared seeker that hones in on the drone's engine heat. The first ram surges across the wavetops, striking low and scattering wreckage. The second missile intercepts the trailing drone, a mile behind. 2 threats, 2 missiles, 2 successful interceptions at ranges measured in thousands of yards. The resulting fireball is visible from Lincoln's flight deck. Through it all, not a single Iranian weapon contacts the carrier or any ship in the formation. 15 minutes later, the flight deck is cleared and the catapult steam is building, not for a routine cycle, but a full combat launch. The air boss calls out every combat aircraft on the roof, fully loaded to maximum gross weight, launching in rapid sequence. The defense phase is over. A FA-18 from VFA-41 Black Aces taxis onto Catapult 1, loaded with 4 GBU-31JMs, 8,000 pounds of GPS-guided ordnance, targeting the Archie's underground command bunker at East Valhalla. The catapult officer drops to one knee, taps the deck, and the entire back of the jet arches as it accelerates from 0 to 165 mph in under 3 seconds. The Super Hornet clears the bow and climbs eastward. Seconds later, Catapult 2 fires, then 1, then 2 again. 14 jets launch within 9 minutes, Super Hornets streaking skyward, poised for precision strikes. The Growlers soared, with Hawkeye confidently leading the strike as the quarterback. Every pylon was armed, every jet aimed straight at Iran. Despite Iran's bold attempt to disable the carrier, they only gained 15 minutes of an empty flight deck. Now, every missile they launched is met not by interceptors, but by jammers raining down on the very facilities that fired or coordinated those attacks. If you found this video intriguing, be sure to watch our other feature on how the US and Israel executed Operation Epic Fury, crippling Iran's military in just one day. Until next time, goodbye.